So how far out do you see this happening if that's the case? And then the question becomes, what does this mean for our precious cryptocurrency?
Yeah. So somebody asked, right? What does this mean for crypto, right? Somebody walked in and said, "Hey, I just walked in. What have I walked into? I thought this was debate crypto." Yes, right. What's going on here, right? So the way to answer that is what I've been describing is what you've been talking about, having crushing the economy to restart the dollar up. And that is why I believe they don't want to do that, because they know it will get that level of ugly. Right. So I think their strategy, which is what I've been saying, is putting the brakes on things and slowing the descent. But the descent is happening. And how do they do that? They slow down money printing.
Where do they go? If you just hold on,
you're going to hit the bottom eventually, but you can slow how long it takes for you to get to the bottom. And what do they do along the way? They distract you with the metaverse. They get people programmed to stay in. They give people other things to take their mind off of the descent in the economy, and they introduce you to the metaverse. They introduce you to different ways of making digital money, right? Adopting cryptocurrencies. That's how they're slowing down the descent to eventually replace, whether it's the dollar or they adopt a Bitcoin standard, a crypto standard, whatever it is, right? We've seen things like Olympus DAO, right? That is pretty much a digital treasury that works like fiat, but on a program level that knows how to balance things and contrast the money supply or expand the money supply as is needed to keep the money flowing, versus the US dollar cannot contrast. They can only forever expand. They do not have a contraction without destroying the economy. So this is what's happening. This is how they slow us down. And this is why I think this is a more likely scenario, right? Having inflation is easier to handle than having deflation, because it can lead to such uglier scenes, because inflation can be controlled how quickly you inflate, but you can't control how quickly you deflate the situation, because things get real ugly, right? You become illiquid real quick, and then things get stuck. And we live in a world, like you said earlier, where we need to be spending. Well, in a world of deflation, you don't spend, you hold.
We've created the world where we need to spend.
Yeah, and by we, I don't mean us. By we, the people that run the world, right?
Yeah.
That's why credit cards were created, so that you can have greater access to money to spend at a future date. You're stealing from your salary in the future. You're saying, I don't have $2,000 right now, but I have a credit card with $10,000 of fake money, and I can swipe right now, and I'll just keep working in debt forever to eventually pay off this with my future salary.
So doesn't this, so first of all, either side of that argument, you could come up with the fact that maybe in comes the government to save the day with the new digital dollar, right? Here we go, Hegelian dialectic, just dialectic, just like I was saying earlier, right? And that's what it is, literally flying in like Superman. Don't worry, we're from the government and we're here to help. And
100%.
Here's the crazy part about it. The people that are in this chat, both these chats, all of these chats, wherever you guys are coming from, you are part of the 1%. You are part of the people that are going to be ahead of the bell curve, right? You are going to understand the idea, or at least you're on your way to understanding the idea behind digital currency, behind digital assets, behind NFTs, behind block. How does blockchain work? What does Bitcoin look like? Why is Bitcoin such a valuable asset? What makes it do what it's been doing? So at any event, what I'm getting at is all of this tees up for the idea that Bitcoin could, if used correctly, could ultimately save a lot of this. And you know why it won't? Because the only way that it does is if decentralization wins. And as much as I'd love that, I don't see that happening. I don't see, and listen, guys, we're not trying to be a buzzkill tonight. We like to listen. You did walk in to debate crypto. We're debating some ideas as to what the world's going to look like. If you guys don't put your freaking glasses on and see that things are not good right now. And the reality is, we're all trying to pivot. We're all trying to make decisions. I have a very nice portfolio. I'm trying to figure out, like, what is the smartest way to handle this? How do I make my money work for me in the best manner possible? And when we don't know what our upper echelon, if you will, I hate looking at it that way, but the people that are making decisions above my head, what if we don't know what they're ultimately planning? We don't know what they're ultimately doing. Well, then we've got decisions to be made upon unknowns. And so how do we take
Yeah.
the unknown out and give ourselves that asset that ultimately can set us up for success? And right now, that those assets are Bitcoin and Ethereum, at least those two.
So I agree. I believe that the government does see crypto as the salvation to their situation. And Hazley Jane, which by the way, guys, is a new member of the DCA fam here.
Welcome. Heck yeah,
Uh,
Hazley.
she is saying that they will slow down crypto development with regulation until they can regulate or manipulate enough to rebuild and develop the digital dollar. Yes and no. I think with what they recently passed in the infrastructure bill about crypto, right? What was it? What was the exact words that you told me about DeFi that they're coming after? That they we spoke about on the phone just the other day. Remember what the exact words were? No, they're coming after DeFi in basically in a way where that you are liable to know the other person that is.
Yeah. They're basically
Right.
they're basically making it so that if you and I have a transaction of $10,000
Yeah.
or more, you are essentially like you have to have my social security number. You basically have to KYC me, and you're not an exchange. You have to make those.
Yes. So according to that, right, what that regulation is doing is that regulation is restricting us, the average citizen, from accessing DeFi legally, right? But that won't apply to banks. That won't apply to institutions. Institutions will be able to use DeFi and decentralized protocols to their benefit and put their money into it to grow it drastically for themselves, without leaving us out of it. I don't think they want to get rid of DeFi. I think they just want to get us out of the way of DeFi, and they want to use DeFi for themselves.
But then it's not DeFi at that point.
Well, it's DeFi because the protocol you're using is decentralized. Okay. The protocol that you're doing is decentralized.
Controlling
but the centralized entities, exactly, the centralized entities are controlling the decentralized protocol and taking us out of the picture to continuously be the position of power. Right. And that's what I think they're trying to do. And that's why I believe that they think crypto is the solution. They just need to figure out how to manipulate it, like Jane was saying, to position themselves in that position to take control of it and save the dollar in that aspect.